Za Srbiju je članstvo u Europskoj uniji.
For Serbia, membership in the European Union is a strategic commitment and a priority of its foreign policy. And this will certainly not change until the next elections. I believe not after that. Since the beginning of the conflict in Ukraine, we have not opened a single chapter, not a single cluster. It seems to me that at least lately we have done some things, but we still have a lot more to do. We need to do it, but also need to discuss among ourselves here in the country the directions of our policy. Following that, I believe that what was done regarding the regulatory agency, the voter lists, and some other things related to the key energy issues will receive a positive evaluation from the European Commission. We know that we still have much to do. We are now facing a difficult situation in the field of energy. The oil industry of Serbia is under American sanctions, and when it is under American sanctions, it is de facto also under European sanctions. Under European sanctions, and that problem is not easy and simple for us to solve. I hope that in all matters of importance for energy safety, for the energy security of Serbia, we to have the support and help of the European Union. I know that the European Union cannot exempt Serbia, although I submitted a letter to Ms. von der Leyen with a request that Serbia be exempted from tariffs and new quotas on steel, as this can only be Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein, if I'm not mistaken. But I also requested and believe that the European Commission will find a way to somewhat ease the status for candidate countries and make things a bit easier in that regard. Regarding making it easier, I believe that winter will not be simple for us. It won't be easy. We have secured large reserves of oil and gas, but given how things are going, it will be a difficult political winter for us in any case. And in that regard, we will closely cooperate, and I believe successfully, with people from the European Union. I want to say that the European Union is both the largest investor and the largest partner of Serbia in trade and services. We all are. We in the Western Balkans are small for the European Union, and we all attribute much greater importance to ourselves than we truly have, and all of us together do not have excessively great importance, but even in that. In small Serbia, according to the latest data, 54.5% of the total exports from the Western Balkans to the European Union countries come from Serbia. Our largest export goes to the Federal Republic of Germany, then Italy, Romania, and Hungary. To these four countries go 48.5% of our exports. The European Union, as I said, is the largest investor, especially among the 5 EU countries, in investments amounting to a total of 60% coming from the territories of these countries. In the EU, it was at a lower percentage in 2024, but this year the percentage and level of investment are returning due to everything that has been happening in our country at a slightly lower level. We were not giving very optimistic statements, at least I wasn't. Saying we will enter the EU this or that year. We talked about that 5-6 years ago. When we talked 5-6 years ago, when other people were leading the European Commissions, it turned out that no one was serious when they mentioned the year 2025, and certainly, we were not ready either. Today, I cannot promise anything to people, except that we will work devotedly and hard to try to fulfill what is called a reform agenda, and I hope that we will for all that. To always be simple, and it's not everything that's completely easy to present to people here, which two key issues are crucial for us, and we don't have to open that topic today, but we will have to open it between ourselves in the coming months and talk about it openly. In any case, I am grateful to the President for with immense support. We will continue to develop energy infrastructure with them. I believe we are building interconnectors towards North Macedonia, and in the future towards Romania as well, to see how and in what way to strengthen Serbia, in terms of the possibility of diversifying energy sources and how to further economically strengthen our country.
We stand for diplomacy instead of aggression. Now, almost 2 decades ago, Serbia made a choice to join our union. And it was not only a strategic choice, it was also a choice of the heart. It was the demand of the people of Serbia, and we look forward to Serbia to double down on its European Union path. The European Union membership offers is an opportunity. It is the promise to peace. It's a promise of prosperity and of solidarity, and especially in times of crisis. You have seen that in practice. Take the energy crisis of 2022. It was triggered by Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, and it had a devastating impact across our entire continent, but we faced it together. The European Union extended the same measures of solidarity to our Western Balkan partners, as to our own member states. And this is what it means to be a reliable partner. You can continue to count on us. We are connecting Serbia to the EU's energy market. This is the true guarantee that Serbian families will be safe and warm in winter. And we have concrete projects in motion. The Trans-Balkan Power Corridor, for example, linking Serbia's grid with its neighbours and with the European Union, and the Serbia-Bulgaria gas interconnector. And we are prepared to invest further in it. We also invited Serbia to join the EU's joint gas procurement mechanism, because together we are using our collective market power to secure better energy prices. Mr. President, now is the moment for Serbia to get concrete about joining our union. My first point is that we need to see progress on the rule of law, the electoral framework and media freedom. I know these reforms are not easy. They take patience and endurance. They must include all parts of society and the political spectrum, but they are worth the effort. My second point is that we need to see greater alignment in our foreign policy, including on sanctions against Russia. I commend you for reaching 61% of alignment with our foreign policy, but more is needed, and we want to count on Serbia as a reliable partner. We know the EU path can be a long road. This is why we wanted to bring some of the benefits of future accession already today, such as the access to the single market, for example, and more EU investments. This is basically the essence of our growth plan for the Western Balkans. Under the growth plan, we are also working on Serbia's integration into the single euro payment area. This will make transfers of money between Serbia and the European Union faster, safer, and much, much cheaper. It will have a real impact on business and on your citizens, many of whom live and work in the EU member states. It shows that Europe's commitment is not only in words, but also in deeds, real change on the ground. And we now look to Serbia to show the same commitment in deeds as well as in words.
Today responds to Brussels' criticisms regarding relations with Moscow and whether Belgrade has determined if Russian services are behind the foreign combat camp near Loznica, given that Russian services are not mentioned in official statements, and whether this was discussed today.
So this is clearly a very crucial moment for Serbia, and it is the time for the nation to come together. It is also the moment to strengthen the foundations of a strong, vibrant and effective democracy. I want to reassure you that the European Union is ready to support you in any effort where that is concerned. And this is, after all, what the whole accession process is all about. It is about the EU-related reforms, and these reforms should, of course, be done by taking the whole of society along.
Thank you also for the fact that we will have, and I believe, be able to form a joint working group with representatives of the European Union that will deal with energy, the situation in our country, to see how we can overcome all the problems. We are not negotiating with the potential buyer because we are not the owners. I have told you 1,000 times, we are not communists, and we are waiting for the owner, if necessary, if the sanctions persist, which seems likely, to agree with whomever they want. What we have seen in discussions with the Russians is that the situation is not easy, not simple, and certainly not for us. And what was encouraging is that they understood and will act accordingly, I believe, and I think they will act so that we cannot allow any jeopardizing of the energy market, insufficient energy supply, and so on. I won't hide it. It's not easy for the President to speak here because a large part of the member countries will always say, aha, Vucic met with Putin then and then met here and then. What I do publicly, and I always speak honestly and fairly, and we are on the European path. I always say that to the President. I tell Putin to his face and never hide it. As you know, But today the world is dominated by social media and images, and in fact, nobody even asks you what the content of something is. So we will do our best to progress on the European path, to do our job, and it is up to the European Union to assess that. And I will always be grateful to President von der Leyen for her efforts and for how she finds it easy to show respect towards our country and to visit other parts of our beautiful Serbia. Not just Belgrade.
Mi se nalazimo na evropskom putu, to uvek kažem.